said, I will open it up to Coach for questions.
What do you hope your players can gain by going to the Underground Railroad Freedom Center?
Well, the one thing you want your team to know, and you want all the kids, both black and white, to know about history, and that you know, these are things you should know about our past, and but you know, some of the stuff I think will be eye-opening, and others, you know, you look at progress and what's been done and where things have been, and you start to realize, like, well, we made great strides, but we're not close to where we have to be. But thank goodness, you know, we've stepped up, and I think this series is about that, and also playing the SEAC schools. The same reason, you know, bring light to those schools and what they do and their unique ability to train the future leaders. So it's a good thing.
Just curious, with Southern, Ben Jobe back in the day, Avery, did you ever have any interactions with some of those HBCU's coaches when you were starting in the game?
Ben Jobe sent me a great letter. Maybe I'll put it out, okay? About when we platooned. He just wanted to remind me that you weren't the first to do that. This is how we used to play. And he you know, it's a letter that I framed. It's in my office, because when someone of that stature, and it was a complimentary letter, but he did remind me that we had done this. So yes, and you know, big house gains, and you know, you just think of you know, we talk about John McClendon. In a different era, those would have been the John Thompsons, the George Ravelings, the John Cheneys, you know, that would have been those coaches in a different era. But, you know, it's again like learning about John McClendon, who is part of this. It will be about positions within the McClendon Initiative. But when you learn, you're like, wow, and to do what he did in the circumstances, the way things were, it's amazing.
John, you said the Underground Railroad Museum, the Unity Series, the Minority Leadership Initiative. What motivates you to get involved with this and try to bring about, you know, that kind of change?
Well, when you see something that you don't feel is quite right, and you're in a position to make a difference, it's probably a sin if you don't try. And so I don't know. It's kind of like the girl walking along the beach throwing the starfish back in the ocean, and there were hundreds of them. And the guy says, you know what, young lady, you can't, you're not even going to have an impact. I mean, there's 1,000 of them. And she said, but it impacted that life. It's impacting that life. And I think kind of people, and it's not me, it's us, what we're doing here, I hope other schools do. What we did with the McClendon was supposed to only be on our campus until I was convinced, why don't you get other coaches? And then Tommy and I got together to say, okay, let's put a list together who we could get and who would do it. The McClendon's up to, I believe, 50 future leaders. It started at 30-something. 28 of those got jobs and moved on, and got a great email about some other people wanting to jump behind this and even make it bigger, which, I'm excited about. But all that we're doing, could we do more? Yeah. I always ask the question, why now? Why not 10 years ago? So when you say, Cal, it's really nice you're doing this, your second question, why didn't you do this 10 years ago? Why didn't you do this a long time ago? Why now? And it's a good question. But we are trying to say, let's, and it's not only men of color, it's women that need to be more involved, and it's all that, and so you're basically bringing light to it and educating and having people look and say, wow, you're right, this is a small step. And I'd like to say the good news is when you go into and I live in some places where you go into a community and you do some stuff and you leave. I had a good friend of mine, Paul Tudor Jones, tell me, did that make you feel good? You went in and did something and you left. I said, yeah, great, because you did basically nothing for that community. You did it for yourself. So if you can do something that's done over a period of time and is sustainable, now you're doing it for that community. Other than that, you're doing it for yourself. You're going in and, yeah, you feel good? Great. You did nothing for the community. So hopefully what we coaches that are involved in the initiative, and that's across the country now. It's east to west, north to south, and it's coach-driven, it's coach-funded. We do have now McDonald's and some other companies jumping in. We'd like to go Division II, Division III, have athletic departments have an opportunity. The HBCUs have opportunities to bring people in, and then let's see where it goes in 10 years. Then you'll know whether, and I'm a guy that does numbers. I mean, if I try to be as generous as I can be, but I also give and then I ask. Tell me what it did. You want me to give more to your cause? Tell me what, give me numbers. Give me the impact. And I would say the same thing with this, to 10 years down the road. Did the McClendon initiative have an impact? What we're doing on this unity scheduling, did it have an impact? What was the impact? Then, you're not doing it to make yourself feel better.
How about your team, just health-wise, how you said you needed these few days?
We are so beat up and sick, thank goodness we're not playing. I don't know. I was supposed to travel. I got the sniffles, and I get a little, nasal chest, and I worked out today just trying to say maybe that'll make me feel better. But we've had one with mono, one with strep throat. Probably can't give all of it, but you have guys, today's practice will probably have 7 players there and like 2 managers. I mean, managers are getting, I was supposed to go, and you guys and ladies know, I travel. Like if I need to go see a kid or I go. I canceled today for the first time in as long as I can remember. Only because I don't want to get worn out and then maybe catch something more than I have. Now, I would never think that way. I would go sick. I would go coughing. I would go I would just go. But I think all that we're going through, you start approaching things a little different. We are sanitizing everything in the path of our team. The lodge, the bathrooms, the common areas, the balls, the weight room, and we're sick. Then I was asking, is any other team in here sick, or are we the only ones sick? So,
you mentioned your team's got a lot to work on. What's one or two things you're really hoping your guys improve on here in the Southern game? What's something you really?
It's not about the Southern game. The Southern game is going to be a great test because they play hard. They play dribble drive. They're going to try to beat us on the bounce. what we have to get better at, how we finish a game. Like I took guys out the last game. Oh, you're going to mess around the last 5, 6 minutes. Well, then you won't be in. This is about us playing against ourselves. And the second thing is we need another post-up guy or two. So we've got this week to find out. Is there another action that we can use to get into something that can post? And it doesn't have to be Oscar. Who's another guy that we can post up? How about we need threes? How can we do this? How about, I saw a late game situation that we just hadn't talked about. You're up 3 with 5 seconds to go. Do you foul? You're up 3 with 5 seconds to go. Raise your hand if you foul. Raise your hand. You're not going to foul? You're fouling? Okay. All of you that said that, Syracuse fouled and Indiana went back and scored on a missed free. Well, what if you'd have a bad rebounding team? Do you foul? What if they're a 40% three-point shooting team? Do you foul? What if they don't make threes? Do you foul? Like, what do you call? Do you say foul, foul? And then they know you're fouling and they shoot the ball from half court as you foul, and then they get 3 free throws. Wait a minute. Okay, now you're at the line and you're down 3 and you make the first. Have you worked on missing and what you're looking to do? We haven't. So we got some situations now that we'll work on. It's all that kind of stuff. It's us. How are we playing offensively? How about this one? Oscar's out. All right, how do we play now? Now how do we play? We had one game after another with a day off and then another day, and team, now we have a little time. Okay, that's great. Now I got 7 guys in practice. So we have time and I got no players. The coaches are getting good at the stuff, but the guys aren't here. So we got work to do.
Speaking of this schedule, originally you all were playing Michigan this weekend. What's the status of that series? Are you still playing in London there?
I believe so, but I don't know. And I believe we are.
In the past, you've mentioned over and over, we just haven't had time to do that. With this team, how many of those hypotheticals that you just mentioned either keep you up at night or say, I wonder if Bryce can do this, or they be on the scene there, or what have you?
The good news is I do have some veterans. And I really like my guards. So they're really smart. We're doing some things on the fly, and they're getting it, which tells me if we hit it in practice once every 2 or 3 days, even if it's 3-4 minutes, they'll have it. They'll own it. Still got to work on Oscar. I'm watching some of these teams post the ball that all they do is jam it in. That isn't who he is, but you got to get a couple of those. So it's not on him, that's on me. I got to figure it out. And here was my statement to the team yesterday. How is Oscar playing for us, for the team? Unbelievable. Really. So if I'm only worried about what he does for us, I leave it like it is. Go get your 16 points and 16 rebounds. We'll be fine. But if I care about him, I got to let him shoot some jump shots. I got to teach him better in the post so he gets some easy baskets. We've got to work on him defensively, because if you can't guard in the pick and roll or guard a guard and you just leave your feet and go, I'm not helping you. So it was kind of like what I said about Severe. What did I tell him? I know what you'll do for us. Here's what we have to do for you as a player. What was one? No. Disruptive defense. If you played like you played a year ago, where you backed off and died in every screen and acted like you didn't care, I'm not helping you. But if you're disruptive defensively, you're mixing it up, you're diving, you're playing, and our defense starts on you and you elevate things and everybody sees it, it helps you too. You have to shoot a floater, because you're going to get shots blocked if you try to keep going. Shoot the floater. You got to add it to your game. Third thing I told him was, you don't have to make every 3. Can't miss them all. So now instead of 21%, let's make it 30, 31, 33, 30. Then, all right, he can make that three. Oh, he's got a floater. He's not going to lose his layup, especially when he goes left. He also has it when he goes right. But he's disruptive. He's got floaters. Now we've helped Sabir. And you're trying to say that for all the guys. I'm still trying to figure out Bryce. I think we're going to do some things this week that I'm going to try with he and Jacob. And let's see if that helps. And this is what happens to us every year. It just takes time till we figure out. And when the kids are doing what they do best, then they build their own confidence. If they're trying to do stuff, some of it is, I'm going to do what I did in high school, won't work, sorry. But they're doing stuff that's too hard. The minute it goes south, they start shooting air balls. Because they're just not, their confidence is that thick right now. So we're trying to get to where here's where you're at your best. Do these things here. And the same with Damien. You know, same with him.
John, you had, speaking of the three-point fouling situation, you had a situation like that at Memphis, as I recall. Didn't go well.
We worked for 2 months because I saw a game and we worked on it.
Right.
And there was the situation. It was there.
Yep.
And the kid did something to get away from my guard.
I remember.
And instead of fouling him, he was afraid they were going to call a intentional foul.
Right.
Make two, take it out, we get beat.
Right.
So he kind of let him go and he switched out. And the whole time he was doing, I was yelling the word we used.
Right.
Everybody knew what we were supposed to be doing. And then, you know, they asked me after the game, and I basically said, when a coach has a 9-point lead with 2:30 to go, you're supposed to win the game. So leave it at that. That I did ask the young man, did you know we were trying to foul? Yeah, but here's why I didn't. Perfect answer. This is on me.
I'm wondering, did that affect the way you approach that situation now because of what happened then?
It does, but it also, are we a great rebounding team? Then you foul. Are you a crappy, soft rebounding team? Then no, we're playing it out. Because let me tell you what else could happen. Make the first soft, crappy rebounder, they grab it, and you know what the soft, crappy rebounder is going to do. And the kid's going to make it because he's so soft. Boom, now you lose.
To have a guy coming back who's got his jersey up, Deshaun, has his game translated to coaching? Like, do you see things that you saw?
You know, I mean, I watched tape today, and you know, he's coaching them. He's coaching them with great demeanor. You know, he's a good guy. He and I go way back. And, you know, I'm happy he's got this opportunity, and he'll grow from here. I mean, I think he'll have opportunities from Southern to do other jobs, but right now, he's coaching and doing what he's got to do to help those kids.
I know you went and visited Coach Hall the other day visited Coach Hall on his birthday.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about his legacy and what he kind of meant?
Let me tell you the biggest thing. The biggest thing. His sister was there. I met his sister for the first time. Every time I see him, he has a smile on his face. And everybody talks about how rough and tough he was as a coach. Like he was like mean. I swear to you, I've never seen him without a smile on his face. Even then, I mean, he's 93 years old. You guys put him through the ringer. And he's still smiling. And I did say this to him. I teased him. I said, hey, did you watch the last game, Coach? We played the 1-3-1. He looked up at me, smiled, and I said, we really didn't play the 1-3-1. And he started laughing, and his daughters are laughing. But I'm just happy he's close enough that I can go see him now and again. I call his daughter because I don't want to bother and bust in, but I miss him at practice, you know, when I could come in and see he and Al and the guys there. I haven't seen John Y. Gov hasn't been in, you know, but yeah, the biggest thing I could tell you, look, here's what I'd say. Guys leave a job that they've been in and had success. Let's be real. How much do they really want the next guy to win? I'm just going to be honest. They'll encourage you to hire somebody that they know they can't win. I've been blessed. Jack Lehman, just like Coach Hall, Coach Lehman was my biggest supporter, my mentor, my psychiatrist. Here's what he would do. You want to go for coffee? That meant he wanted to talk basketball. This was Coach Lehman. And he would not start until I'd say, Coach, what do you think? And then he'd just go for 40 minutes. But he'd wait for me to say it. Coach Hall was similar. Coach Bartow, can you imagine I walk into Memphis and Coach Bartow was there and my biggest cheerleader and the guy that promoted and helped and was a mentor to me. And then I come here and it's the same thing. Coach Hall, I've told you this story. The first practice I went to, there were 22 guys. I thought I had a football team. I'm like, who are all these guys? And there were 22 of them. And I said, hold on. And he's sitting there watching me do this. I made all the walk-ons, like there are 11 of them, go to the side and put their toes on the sideline. So I could just see, I got it. And then I had the managers, no lie. When a kid shot it, I made them yell out his name and say, good shot, Patrick. So I was trying to figure out who was who. I knew Patrick and a couple of the guys, and it was done. And I go in the room and my hands, I'm like this. Oh my God, what did I do? What have I done? And he walks in and puts his hand on my back. He says, you don't worry, you are going to be great here. You watch. Don't worry about one day. And that's what the first thing he said to me. And, you know, I'm just telling you, I've done this very unusual for the last coach to want the next one to win. There's only going to be a few of us that are that way. I said a few of us that way.
All right, guys, done that.